Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into something really fascinating, uh, a deeply cultural tradition of the Uyghur people, the
Right.
Böshük.
hmm
Now, this is much more than just a baby's cradle. It's an object steeped in history and artistry and, well, some profound beliefs about new life.
Exactly. And we've got some detailed accounts that really shed light on its significance, how it's made, the rituals, both for the specific Boshik and also for traditional Uyghur cradles more broadly.
Right.
So our goal really is to understand what makes these traditions tick, why they're so important.
Okay, great. Let's get right into it then. The Böshük. Our sources describe it as a very specific kind of bed for newborns, right? Deeply rooted in Uyghur culture, but also found among other Turkic peoples too.
That's right.
So what makes the Uyghur version stand out?
Well, one of the really compelling things is how it's constructed. Imagine it's about 60 centimeters high, maybe a meter long, 50 centimeters wide,
Okay.
and it's made entirely of wood. No iron nails at all.
Wow, really?
Well,
No nails.
no nails. It suggests, a very strong connection to natural materials, maybe even specific beliefs about the wood itself, its properties.
That's interesting. And it's clearly not just functional. The sources really emphasize the artistic side, the delicate design.
Absolutely. It's practical, yes, but also beautiful. But beyond the physical thing itself, the Boshuk has this really special, almost sacred status in the culture.
Sacred. Okay, how does that manifest?
Well, a key part is the Boshuk toy, the Boshuk ceremony. This isn't just a casual thing, it's a major event.
Right.
It happens sometime after the baby's born, but before the 40th day. And crucially, it's after the kindik anisi. That's the person, usually a woman, who cuts the umbilical cord, has done her part.
Okay. And there's a healing period first, the kindik tushti.
Yes, exactly. That healing process, usually 5 to 7 days, needs to happen before the baby is formally placed in the bushuk. There's a definite sense of ritual timing, everything in its proper order.
It really seems like it. And that respect is shown even before the baby arrives, right? Preparing the bushuk and all its accessories beforehand.
Mm-hmm. It's like creating this dedicated, blessed space ready to welcome the child.
Now, this is where it gets really detailed. The role of the bushuk anisi, the bushuk
Yep.
mother, sometimes called erimshi. This isn't just any random person.
No, definitely not. It's usually an experienced woman, often an elder, someone respected in the community who is specifically invited.
And why her? What's the significance?
Well, the belief is pretty powerful. It's thought that through her actions, the baby sort of inherits blessings, good fortune, and the wish for a long, healthy life from this elder.
I see.
It shows how much the community values the wisdom, the life experience of its older members. The term Irimchi itself carries a lot of weight, a lot of respect.
So she leads this whole process. First, facing the bushuk towards the Qibla, towards Mecca.
Mm.
That feels significant religiously.
Absolutely. It's embedding that spiritual dimension right from the start. Then she carefully arranges everything inside. The sources list it all out.
Yeah, it's quite the list. There's the jack, like a wooden block underneath.
And its cover, the Jack Tamiki.
Then 4 small pillows, the Oda, a cotton quilt,
Right?
followed by 2 more soft cotton quilts wrapped in a zaka cover and a little head pillow. It's very layered, very specific.
It really is. Each piece seems to have its own purpose for comfort, for security. And then there's the shimek.
Yes,
Yeah.
the urine tube. Cleverly fitted onto the jack, the block. Very practical.
Very practical, integrated right into the traditional design. Addresses hygiene directly.
And placing the baby is just as precise. The legs are straightened, wrapped with a yugak belt,
Mm-hmm.
then these tizlik knee quilts,
Mm-hmm.
and the feet secured with a padded kartku strap.
Right.
Even the stomach and chest are wrapped with the yugak, and the arms gently straightened and secured with koltarku arm straps. It sounds incredibly secure.
It does, very much like swaddling, as you said. And the sources emphasize this isn't just about restraint. It's believed to support healthy physical development, helping the limbs grow straight and naturally aligned.
So it's intentional shaping almost.
In a way, yes. Promoting healthy growth right from the beginning.
And the symbolism doesn't stop there. Items placed on or near the bushuk, like wolfskin or bread.
Yes, placed at the head, sometimes described as being like a companion for the baby.
Mm.
And then you have the bushuk turmali, that decorative wooden bar across the top.
Right, often with amulets or beads.
Exactly. Sacred amulets, eye beads to ward off evil, maybe pieces of coral, all for protection and good fortune. It really speaks to the hopes and anxieties surrounding a newborn.
You can almost feel the protective instinct there. The wolfskin you mentioned, maybe symbolizing strength.
That's a likely interpretation, yes. These aren't just random objects, they carry specific wishes for the child.
And there's a cover too, the Böshük yapgu, described as colorful.
Adds to the beauty, the visual appeal. And then there are gender-specific items.
Oh yeah, like what?
A knife for a boy, placed at the head, and a mirror for a girl. Again, the purpose mentioned is warding off the evil eye.
A knife and a mirror. Interesting choices. Do we know if these symbols vary much by region?
That's a good question. The sources we have don't specify regional variations for these particular items, but it's definitely plausible. You often find local twists on broader traditions.
Makes sense. And the Böshük anisi has one last ritual act.
Yes. After the baby is settled, she sprinkles something called a drasmin. It's described as a salt mixture or sometimes crushed apple skin.
Yeah.
And then she circles the Böshük 9 times.
9 times? Why 9?
The sources don't explicitly state the meaning of 9 here, but numbers and rituals often have deep cultural roots, maybe ancient beliefs or specific numerology. The stated purpose, though, is to drive away any lingering negative influences or evil spirits.
Fascinating. But what's really striking is that the source then points out the practical logic behind a lot of this.
Exactly. It's not just superstition. For instance, airing the quilts regularly prevents dampness, protecting the baby from getting chilled.
Right.
The secure wrapping offers protection even if the baby somehow kicks off the covers. And, maybe crucially for the mother, the baby being secure means she can actually get some rest.
Which is vital. It's amazing how these traditional methods often align with modern ideas about infant care, just expressed differently.
It really shows how well suited the Böshük is, or was, to the Uyghur way of life, both in villages and towns. Its widespread use is noted.
And there's even a song, the Ilay lullaby.
Yes, the Böshük song. It reflects that deep affection and respect for the whole tradition. It's all interwoven.
Okay, so that gives us a really vivid picture of the Böshük itself. Now, let's broaden out slightly. What about other traditional Uyghur cradles? How do they compare?
Well, the sources confirm that cradles in general have a long and important history in Uyghur child-rearing.
And the materials are similar? Local wood?
Yes, local wood again. And they share similar structural ideas, side rails, called shal supports, or tiz, edges known as chetik, and a kind of spine support called poza.
So the basic concept is related.
Definitely. And again, you see this whole suite of bedding and accessories being prepared.
Like the Uvuda mat.
Pillow, shoulder shap, which is a small blanket, a thin sheet called yogek, a zaka headrest, even a chimvirik hoop, which sounds intriguing.
It does.
And the familiar jack block and shuek tube are there too, plus things like a korek foot warmer. It's incredibly comprehensive.
Every detail seems thought through for comfort and hygiene.
It really does. And mirroring the Böshük tradition, experienced women here, just called cradle mothers, are involved.
Doing similar things, inspecting, advising.
Exactly. They're invited to check the cradle's safety, make sure the accessories are clean and ready, and give the new mother detailed instructions. It reinforces that community aspect of raising children, passing down knowledge.
And the symbolism carries over, too.
Yes, like placing a toki chak, a small round bread under the pillow for good luck.
Okay.
And we see those gender-specific items again placed near the headrest. For a boy, maybe a wolf tooth and a sharpened needle.
Symbolizing strength and bravery.
Presumably, yes. And for a girl, a mirror, a comb, maybe a strainer, representing qualities like purity, diligence, kindness, beauty.
So these objects are like tangible wishes for the child's character and future.
Precisely. They're loaded with cultural meaning. And again, you sometimes see eye beads or talismans hung on these cradles too for that extra layer of protection.
What really caught my eye was this idea of the cradle being seen ancestrally as a mold for raising children. A mold.
That's a powerful image.
What's the thinking behind that?
It suggests a belief that the cradle actively shapes the child, not just holds them, specifically shaping their physical proportions in a way that's considered ideal or healthy within the culture.
So it's quite interventionist in a way.
You could say that.
Okay.
And the benefits listed really emphasize this blend of physical shaping and practical care.
Let's recap those. Promoting proportional body development.
Right. Reducing the risk of colds because the baby is protected from drafts.
Hygiene and comfort airing the bedding prevents dampness and chills, which also helps the caregiver rest.
Aiding the baby's sleep through gentle rocking and lullabies, contributing to healthy growth.
And even providing a kind of gentle massage effect that promotes blood circulation.
It's a holistic view, really. Physical development, comfort, hygiene, even rest for the mother, all tied together.
So pulling these threads together now,
Huh.
this specific Böshük and the more general traditional cradle, well, maybe differing slightly in specific features or terminology.
They clearly share this deep cultural focus on ritual, on symbolism, and fundamentally on the total well-being of the newborn.
Yeah, it's this amazing blend of very practical design, addressing real-world needs like hygiene and warmth, with these deeply held beliefs and spiritual practices.
They're not separate things at all. They're completely integrated. It's how care is understood and practiced.
So for you listening, what does this all mean? Well, the Böshük in these traditional Uyghur cradles, they're obviously so much more than just baby beds.
Mhm.
They are, you could say, cultural vessels. They hold history, art, practical knowledge, and the spiritual values of the Uyghur people concerning new life.
Absolutely. We've walked through that detailed process, especially with the bushuk, the preparation, the vital role of the bushuk anisi, all those symbolic layers involved in actually placing the baby inside. It's a real community tradition, packed with meaning.
And those perceived benefits, physical development, protection, comfort, they highlight a kind of ingenuity, a deep care embedded in these practices that have been passed down for who knows how long.
It really makes you think about generational wisdom, doesn't it? And how these customs have survived because they worked on multiple levels for the community.
Which leads us to a final thought for you to take away. How do the ways different cultures care for their newborns reflect their core values, their understanding of child development?
Exactly. What can we learn by looking closely at traditions as rich and intricate as the Uyghur Böshük and Cradle? It gives you a fascinating window into a culture's worldview, how it cherishes and protects its youngest members, physically and spiritually.